You are now listening to the thoughts and sounds of IC the God King. This is the IC Experience.
What's up, my boy?
What's going on, brother?
Ain't nothing much, man. Glad to see we got the color coordination going on.
Yeah, man, great minds think alike.
Yeah,
man. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? You got on the Space Jam J. I got on the Space Jam J.
Oh yeah. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Looking forward to make that.
Hey, but I'm real excited. This our third week. You know, I'm glad we've been able to keep it how we said we was gonna do it, and you know, be consistent, because consistency is the key. And this week, what we talking about is power. Now that we done heard the word power, it's almost kind of cliche at this point. But I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and his daughter got into a situation with her professor at school. And he was asking my opinion on it, where there was what he felt like was a little disrespect towards the daughter. And the daughter kind of reacted in a way, as I heard the story, in a way that I wouldn't have reacted, right? And so the father felt that the professor disrespected the daughter, in a nutshell. And I told him, you know, that I guess she responded in a way that was like trying to, hey, don't check me kind of situation, right? And I told him, I said, she not in position to check a professor if she's wrong or right, you know? So we start going back and forth about individuals defending their honor, so to speak.
So hold on, let me get this straight. The professor corrected her on something.
No, so I think the professor started asking other students, like, hey, is this person participating in the group projects? She didn't like that.
Okay.
Like, she was like, why you didn't say it when I was on the team's call or whatever kind of thing. So then the teacher was being petty. In the next exam, she had her name in the exam, like as one of the answers or something.
Okay.
And she didn't like that. She was kind of like, oh, she called the teacher after that first situation and was like, hey, if you have an issue with me, I would have appreciated if you address me while I'm on the teams instead of da. And, you know, she goes to a PWI, you know, a predominantly white institution.
Okay.
And that plays a role in my mind, you know? And so basically I was telling the father that she's not in a power position to go back and forth with the professor, in my opinion, you know. Not saying that what the professor did or was doing was right. And I also got to take into account, if somebody's calling you about your child, you automatically gonna take your child aside and not kind of look at the broader picture, kind of. And so I was telling him, like, you know, you can't play with these people like that, because they have the power of your, you know, if you go into school there, she can deny your grade or give you a grade if you earned it or not, you know. And he was like, well, how you gonna say that, man? I'm really surprised. Even a person like you that called himself a God King. And so I said, you know, me calling myself a God King basically is saying that I have the power to choose decisions in this environment that we live in. And based off my choice, that's the God-like power, how I react to my environment. But I do recognize that I'm not the God. When I'm saying I see the God King, I'm not the creator. There's levels to it.
So you're basically saying you can't strike him down with lightning, per se.
Right. But, you know, what I'm saying is I understand that there's things bigger than myself.
Right.
You know, and for that example, a black student going back and forth with a professor at a PWI, that individual professor might be on her level equally, you know. but the system that supports her, you can't beat that. And it was hard for the father to see that, because he was really surprised. Like he don't see nobody, but I was trying to tell him there's levels to it, powers, and the timing of that also is similar to what's going on with Shador Sanders. You know,
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Like you got somebody who good as hell, and they cocky with it, and they got the support of their father. You know, but the power structure, the system is like, oh, we're gonna check you. You know what I'm saying? So they played them basically.
Right.
From the outside looking in, it looked like they played them. And yeah, man. So I just wanted to touch on that was the basis of it. Right. And I wanted to get your thoughts about power and how people need to react. And
yeah, I think anytime you're exceptional at what you do, you're going to run into some opposition, into some friction in your journey.
Yeah.
Right? Because the structure is basically you're a number. Like that's how that's how they would like it to work. You know, it's like you're just a number. So when you're something more than that, and you know you're something more than that, then you're probably going to run into some friction along the way. And I think in running into that friction on that journey, you'll learn that it's not what you say, but how you say it. Right?
So now you're talking about the power of the tongue.
Right. Which is, I feel like our most powerful tool that we have is our powerful influence, and the tongue is a big part of that. You know, I mean, there's other ways to influence people, but I think like the lowest hanging fruit on that is just talk, right?
Right.
So, and I think that kind of speaks to something that you said earlier. You know, your godliness comes from the choices that you make. You know, and it also comes from the way that people perceive you, and a lot of that is based on how you speak to people. You know, how do you handle difficult situations? It's easy to be a nice person, or to be perceived as a nice person, or up when everything is good and going great.
Yeah.
You know, but what happens when it doesn't? How do you respond to those situations?
Yeah. And that's what I was explaining to my friend. Like, we can't control the environment. So, you know, we're not a God that's kind of just like wielding the environment, the rain, manipulating the weather. Although I've seen videos where people, they do that. So, but again, it goes back to the levels.
Right.
You know, and so we definitely have to be mindful of, and you remind me of this often when we speak on the phone, what we put out there in the universe, even in our thoughts. You know, and so then because you got to bring it from this realm, from your mind, to the physical realm where we're at now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But what you thought about what's going on with Shador Sanders and all that? What was your thoughts on that?
I honestly felt like it is marketing, bro. You know,
on whose side?
On both sides. Like, it's a win for everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, we got this situation that has a lot of attention. How do we get more attention out of it? Because what else is going on?
Yeah, you're right. people tired of looking at Trump and his shit every day. Like somebody, you know, it's kind of weird because I've been in a situation where I haven't even been paying attention to the news and letting it impact me like that. But you're right. This has been the talk of the town.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So
and especially like when you think about the NFL, right? Like, what else does the NFL have going on?
Right.
Nothing. You know?
Like, who's the man in the NFL right now? I can't even tell you.
I can't tell you. You know, I have no idea.
Right. But but you know, that also goes back, me and you talked about this shit about Puff Daddy too. Cause like, you know, Puffy is he's using his gifts, his powers, you know. But also, as you mentioned, the stuff that happened to him, you're not bigger than the program. So it's still systems, no matter how high you get up.